All right, and we are live. Welcome to the BrainDrive weekly development call live stream. We do these calls every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, where we update on our development progress from last week and plan out the coming week. Our mission here at BrainDrive is to build a superior user-owned alternative to big tech AI systems. I'm Dave Waring, and I handle the operations side here at BrainDrive.
And I'm Dave Jones, and I handle the technical operations side here at the house.
BrainDrive is an MIT licensed open source personal AI system that's designed to help you define and reach your goals. Everything you see here is running locally on my computer, and this is our new hot flash Mac desktop application that we're running this week. So, in addition to being able to run in Docker, you can now just download and open and set up
Yep,
as a native Mac app. And you can see it here in the applications file. And so, like I said, this is all built around helping you define and reach your goals. So we have these default pages that you can come into and you can kick off a conversation, and it will help you, for example, go through what's happening with your career and help you plan out what the next steps are. And the whole purpose of this interview process is to come up with a spec and a build plan that the spec aligns you and your AI system around what your goals are. And then once you're aligned, it can come up with a plan to help you execute, and it updates your agent.md file with the context around you. And as you can see, when we go back to the career, it's kicking off the interview process there. You can run local models here via Olama if you would like. You can run a BrainDrive model, which is the model that we pick for you, and you can just add credits to get started. And you can run OpenRouter. So your menu of options is pretty much unlimited here. If you want to run everything locally on your own computer, you can run it via Olama, which is what I had it set to and why it took a minute to come up. If you're using BrainDrive models or OpenRouter cloud-based models, that's going to be almost immediate there.
yep,
So, like I said, that is MIT license. You can go and install it at braindrive.ai. These desktop installers will be up later this afternoon, or you can try it out via Docker now. And that's our system. And this is all built on what we refer to as the personal AI architecture, which I thought I had up here, but personal AI architecture.org. And this re architects how personal AI systems are built around your memory as the platform. Your memory is everything that makes the AI system personal to you. So it's not locked inside an app when you're using BrainDrive. And that is because we build on this architecture. And in addition to BrainDrive using this architecture, it is available as an MIT licensed open source repo as well. And we also have a template for people who want to build their own AI system using the same architecture right here. And soon there will be a course, which I'm finishing up this week, that will walk you through the steps you need if you would like to build your own AI system. So that's to help you if you'd like to participate in the BrainDrive project, or also to give you all the resources you need if you'd like to build your own AI system. And the last thing is community.braindrive.ai is where we can all come together and discuss this, whether you're helping build out BrainDrive or working on the personal AI architecture. Dave and I are active participants in this community forum and ready to answer your questions and help and discuss and build the future of user-owned AI together. So with that, I'll hand it over to Dave for the week's tech update.
well, most of last week, well, I'll still share my screen and show BrainDrive itself. There we go. Now it's caught up. Most of last week was actually in the installers itself. We did the Mac first, got that further along, and then over the weekend we finalized the Windows one. There's only one outstanding issue before it goes live, and hey, that's just because I play with it and I know where its weak points are. That's if you hit the community link, it'll won't go where it's spelled. It doesn't open up a browser page or anything right now. So I need to tie that into Rust so it knows what to do when it gets URLs. That's the only thing left that I can find. I also want to do a due diligence because we have the installers working themselves. Now I need to go back and use BrainDrive itself normally. with the installer code in there and all the changes that took place, because we don't want to break the Docker install, because the managed hosting, BrainDrive itself, and the local install, if you don't use the installers, rely on that. So I just make sure it's backwards compatible with the entire Docker stuff. But I expect that to be done by the end of the day, to be honest with you. It really isn't much. It's just like the one issue I know, and then testing. And then
Great. So when do we think we can put these up on the website?
I would like to have by the end of the day.
Okay.
All it one test and one fix that I found, or one issue that I found, and that I'm expecting in seconds. I'm going to rebuild both, test them. I'm going to reinstall the Docker, test it, and once that's there, then I will merge that branch into the main branch, so it's all one, and then we will do complete builds with the live code.
So I would say I have an AI event tonight that I'm going
Yep,
to that I might be able to pick up a few beta testers from. So the community link to me, nice to have, not a
yep,
need to have for
okay.
that. And I
But
mean, is there any
the
reason
main
not to
the
just go
main
ahead
thing
and
is
put,
you want both installers ready to rock while you go into that.
yeah, and just have them, people can download it. And also, I'm going to be clear that it's in beta,
Yep,
you know what I mean? And we're testing, et cetera. So I kind of feel like why not? I
yep.
mean, I've played with it enough that it works as well for me as the other ones. So,
Yeah, the only thing missing from this is I call it the splash screen. And that's that little blackness that's there when you click the icon and the interface comes up and it's black for a moment as it's loading everything up. Put a splash screen, a BrainDrive logo and stuff like that.
yeah, and say
Um,
loading or
yep.
something, right? And I mean, that can be added just as easily if we're live on GitHub and on the website than after, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We can that everything is
I would say put it
explorable.
up on the website after the call.
Yep. There you go. Okay. We can have both.
Well, put it up on GitHub and I'll put it up on the
Yep.
website.
I was, in fact, our community forum thread we've been working on has both the live links.
Is that
You
all
know,
I need? Is just to
yeah.
put, oh, okay. I didn't know if like they needed to go on GitHub or,
Nope, we can put the, especially right now, because they're not tied into our other releases. You can put them on the website, offer them there, and then we will get that link transferred over when we're ready. We have a splash screen and the URL's ready and the little dot the I type things.
and then at some point we'll want to switch it over to GitHub so that whenever you make an update, I don't have to
There,
update the
that's what,
website, right?
exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like, well, once we get it cleaned up, and we'll move it over to GitHub, and every Monday will be the Docker versions will get repackaged, rebuilt up, and then the installer versions will get repackaged up and built up. Um,
Great.
but this was as expected, so it's not like I'm going, oh my God, my Mondays are going to be so busy. No,
Right.
we'll create the scripts like we're doing for the Docker install, so it'll get more automated as we're moving along. Because like this morning, I pressed one button, and once I was finished doing the depbot stuff, and boom, you had your email of these are the changes from last week, and I was happy.
Yeah, and I would say from my perspective, the installers give me the ability to get this out to more
Yep,
people. And right now, I think for BrainDrive, we need more users of the actual thing versus developer. Like we
yep,
need people using it to define and reach their goals. So I would say, getting the splash screen, getting the community link going, and then going back and doing all the backwards compatibility because we don't have anyone on managed hosting yet.
yeah, okay,
And we don't have any developers yet
yep,
building, and the developers that we want to get involved right now is really for personal AI architecture anyway.
hmm
So I would
So
say let's rock and roll with these
let's wrap
installers.
wrap two things, and I'll do rebuilds. It'll have the same file name so that you can automatically just put the names there.
Perfect.
And they'll be on my Google Drive. So
Because this thing's slick now. I mean, the desktop,
that's why I started this. I was like, I like Docker for a lot of things, but not in this case. And I was like, if I can get Rust and Tori to play along with the application, even though we built it first, normally like you build Rust and stuff like that as you're moving along. But I was like, I gotta try, and that's what started this 2 weeks ago.
great. All right. So I know installers were a big deal from last week. Anything else to update on from
Um,
last week?
we finalized the managed hosting things. As you'll see, and I can change over really quick to, here we go. Our change log, not a lot of things outside of installers was done. One thing particular, right here, This was Nav cleaning up some of the issues on managed hosting, which ventured from it was a lot of hosting stuff, but also some client stuff that had to be cleaned up is right there.
Yep.
Um, and then the rest was security and dependency bot things getting, we're trying to stay up on par with that because, hey, every week you're just seeing another place being hit or whatever. And we don't want to be on that list.
Yes, correct. All right, so we feel good about like automated builds and our
Yep.
templated release process now and all that. That's all coming together.
Yep. Everything we've been working on at this point this morning worked without a hitch, no blinks, no nothing. And it was a pretty, other than I was paying close attention, it was pretty, I could have just clicked it and walked away and got coffee.
Great. So I'm working on a course for the personal AI architecture. And I have the first lesson here is just an introduction to the personal AI architecture. Then it is, how we go about, giving you all the resources that you need to build on top of this. So, like we talked about in the beginning of the call, Dave has put together a TypeScript template, although the personal AI architecture is language agnostic. So,
Mhm.
there'll be more templates coming in the future. But we have the template. We have BrainDrive as the reference implementation of that. So, lesson one is all about what is the personal AI architecture, less than 5 minutes. This is here's all the resources that we give you and actually getting you set up to start running. So we have a prompt here that kicks that off to get you ready to start building because this is vibe coder friendly. And then lesson three is okay, now let's get up. Let's talk about the process that we're going to use. Like people are always like, okay, I want to jump in and start coding. But even before AI coding agents, but especially with coding agents, you really need to be clear about what it is that you are building. And so
Yep.
this is our interview spec and build process. The same process we're using in BrainDrive for non-development tasks works really well for developer tasks. Um, and this goes through that. And then we have prompts that will run, as part of Dave's TypeScript template
Yep.
that'll take you through this interview spec and build plan process. So, we have a whole video on that now going through our process that's 3.5 minutes. So we're not, I have a tendency to be a little long-winded with this stuff. So we're trying to get away with that. But I think it really makes the point. And then now I'm working on, okay, let's actually kick off these prompts and start building. So, and I'm going to have a repo with the example of everything that we've built here. So this was the prompt that we used to get set up. We give this to you in the course. You just copy and paste it in. It gets all your repos set up. It'll even sign into GitHub for you if you're
Yep.
not signed into GitHub. So it takes care of a lot of the operational stuff. And as you can see, it says ready when you are, want to kick off the pre-build alignment, interview spec, and build plan. So, you don't even have to do anything. You can
Yep.
stay right here in your Claude code or in your codex and just let's go, right? And it starts the interview process. I go through the interview process of building a chat with documents on top of the personal AI architecture with a chat interface, which we know is a use case that people love.
Yep.
And we're going to set it up running in Olama so you can keep it not running in Olama, but using Olama for the model so you can keep everything 100% private on your computer. And so we go through that interview process and the video I'm working on now. I didn't want to have like a 30-minute video with me typing out the answers to all the questions. So I'm just going to talk through this and give some of the tips that I have. Like,
Yep.
for example, always start with like the minimum viable thing.
Yep.
The coding agents are very eager to add a lot of features and functionality in, but you really want to build one step at a time or one block at a time. So we're just starting with Markdown only, a folder that has some BrainDrive Markdown files in it that I can ask about what's our mission, what's our vision, help me write an email that's in line with our brand, those types of things. And then here it writes the spec, and I never have to leave the terminal here. And it goes through, and I have some examples of me like looking at this and asking, okay, because it says I did this dependency thing and changed a test, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. So you just ask,
Yep.
right? You ask the AI, what is that? Explain that to me in plain language. It does all that. And then now let's kick off the build plan and we start executing. And again, I'll have all this in a repo and we're going to have a video on it. And it goes through each of the stages and it stops at the end of every build phase. If you want to test or if you are a developer and you want to look at the code, you
Yeah.
can do that. I also find by building in phases, it does a better job too because it's stopping and testing itself at the end of
Yep.
each phase. And Dave has included drift tests that to make sure you're staying within the architecture within this template. And we've gotten all the way to the end of the build plan here, and I haven't actually opened this yet. So let's see if it
Rumble.
works. Uh, we'll do it live.
Yep. Because
Okay.
oh, there
It
we
came
go.
up.
Yep.
So, oh,
Has
13
everything.
files indexed. All right. What is BrainDrive's mission? Let's see if it does it.
There. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It did it.
Yeah. And for anybody to know, because we've been doing these questions for a while since even the BrainDrive core, if it was not using the files, it would tell you that BrainDrive is a notepad application.
Yeah.
Because for some reason that's in everybody's training data.
Yeah, and if we weren't on the Zoom right now, I could turn off the internet
Yep.
and show it as well. So, and this is going to be cool because now I can go back and do a little bit of like don't show these tool calls,
Yep.
etc. Okay, this is awesome. I mean, how cool. A great
And,
job also, Dave, to get that template good enough to where I mean, this
and
is the
that's the
second
idea is
time
like,
I've gone all the way through as a non-developer and launched a personal AI system using Dave's template.
and that's the thing is like how many people, I don't know about you, because I just sit in vibe coding forums and other AI forums is like chat with documents. That's like everybody's go-to request. It's like I want something that does this and it has to work.
Yeah, and
And
I
it's
came
just
up with that, or we came up with
yep,
that after Dave built the template. So we didn't like optimize the
align
template for
everything.
chat
Yep.
with documents. He just made a template that you should be able to build whatever you want
Yep.
to on top of that. And there you go.
Yep. So I think anybody is like you can if you have any project you want to do, it's worth taking a stab at because combine the template with the reference documentation, you basically have the AI heading right down the highway you want it to. All you need to do is basically tell it what flavor cake you want and it will bake it. So and that's the goal of it.
Super exciting. So I want to finish off that this week, not even this week, today, really. Um, and get out to the local AI community with here's the personal AI architecture. Here's a let's I said 30 minutes. I think it's going to be less than 30 minutes.
Yep.
Although it probably take you 30 minutes to an hour to do the actual build while you're
Yep.
sitting there waiting for the AI, but you can grab coffee while that's happening. And then here's BrainDrive as a reference implementation. To me, I mean, I haven't seen anything like that in the local AI community.
Nope, nobody. And then comes the next this week. If we can somehow to get this to work on a phone, and when we say that, we're going well beyond an interface. We want to do all of BrainDrive and just see if we can get it to work on your phone. So you would have your local experience because you own the code, you own the
Yes.
files, even on your phone, no matter where you're at.
So, we had Dave and I have really tried to be very focused in on what we're building, why we're building it. That's our mission, vision, our pillars,
Mhm.
all of that, and to put together a roadmap that um, reflects that.
Yep.
So, originally, we were going to, our ultimate persona here that we're going after is who we refer to as Katie Carter. And Katie is a non-technical person that wants to leverage AI and wants to leverage her own AI system to do things like we just talked about, like
Yep.
write this email for me, but grounded in my brand, things such as this, right? Um, so we want to make owning a personal AI system as easy as owning a personal computer, or even easier, really.
Yep.
And that's our ultimate goal. Initially we came out with the Docker install because it's pretty easy. You don't have to go to you didn't have to do a bunch of stuff in the terminal, etc. But even just for people that are used to downloading an application and just starting it up and running
Yep.
it, it was just too
You're in a
many
foreign
steps.
country. It's yeah, it's almost like
So
when I
I
was a
said,
yep,
let's go back to the local community. We know there's a lot of people in the local community where having this Docker install in just a couple steps is really easy.
yep,
And we also have a fairly unique way that we introduce people to their AI system with this interview spec build plan process around these different life areas built in. So let's go back to the local AI community and let's do that with the personal AI
mhm,
architecture so people can build their own AI system on top of that. But if you just want to use a local AI system, just use BrainDrive. So
yep,
that'd be a good way to get the personal AI architecture out there and get people playing around and building systems on top of that because it is an open architecture. And then also a good way to get the BrainDrive brand name out there and start building some buzz
yep.
among the local community that will eventually help us reach our ultimate persona, which is this Katie Carter persona. So that was kind of after we came out with the Docker. Then last weekend, Dave says, "Hey, watch this."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, and came out with the Mac installer, the Mac and the Windows installers, which does run it just like a normal app.
Yep,
And along with our brain drive model where you can just add credits and go, that is a pretty easy user experience. And so now, and it also has Ollama, it also has
yep,
Open Router. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, like, that makes this interesting again for Katie,
yep.
right? At the same time, I started working on this course for the personal AI architecture and I started building apps on top of the personal AI architecture. I'm like, whoa, like this is amazing, right?
Yep,
So, the whole time that we've been spinning around on all this, nothing has changed about what we're trying to do, which is build a superior user-owned alternative to big tech AI systems and make owning a personal AI system as easy as owning a personal computer. But the prioritization, the priorities, the path, we see the top of the mountain. Which path we're
yep.
taking to go up
Sometimes there's a
there?
fork and you got to make a decision.
We're trying to figure it out,
Yep,
and we're getting more information as we go down the path,
yep,
right? Okay. So, I think Dave and I had a conversation last week about should we go all in on kind of the personal AI
yep,
architecture initially. And I think the answer to that we came to, especially after seeing the installers, is we're pretty close to having
yep,
a personal AI system to be able to offer to people, which is going to be really exciting.
yep,
So we don't want to divert off of that
yep,
path, right? And so, getting back to our roadmap, then what does that mean? Right. And so here's our roadmap in the Brain Drive repo, which is publicly available to everyone. And we have these 5 phases: the own, benefit, connect, earn, and decentralize. Okay. So own was personal AI architecture, and Brain Drive is the first implementation that's done. So now we're in this benefit stage. So benefit to me, I think maybe rephrasing it's still benefit and
yep,
connect from my perspective, but I think what this really is now to crystallize this a little better is brain drive acting as your advisor with all of your context, and then brain drive acting on your behalf,
yep.
right?
True. Yep.
And a lot of that stuff is in here already,
Yeah.
but you know, until Brain Drive can advise you effectively,
Yeah.
you do not want it acting on your behalf,
Yeah.
right?
You need to have confidence that the advice before it goes, hey, I'm your arm, I'm your hand now. I'm going to do this.
Right. And so, if we think about this like the ultimate executive assistant, so to
Hmm.
speak, for your personal and professional life, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to have a hiring process that ensures this person's working for you,
Yep.
right? That's phase 1. Then the second phase now is you have to train them and bring them up to speed with all of your context, right? So, and you need a good process for them to leverage that context to help you. Okay. So this is our interview spec and build plan process, right? Is aligning you and your brain drive around defining what your goals are, what success looks like, and then now starting to execute on that. And I think there's two things that we've been talking about that fit within this phase. And it's all about, okay, getting as much context as possible to that executive assistant, which in
Yep.
this case is your brain drive, right?
Yes.
And there's two ways that that happens. One is you making a decision to feed your brain drive some context. So, for example, one of the things that brain drive will help you with is personal finance and budgeting. I want to be able to feed my brain drive my bank statements and my credit card statements so it can help me with budgeting,
Yep.
right? So that is making a decision of I want to feed this information to my brain drive. And the second is the context is just gathered through the normal use of BrainDrive. So I'm running the interview, I'm going, through the interview process. I'm telling BrainDrive, update this to-do list. I've done this, I haven't done that. It's like I'm actively talking to my BrainDrive, right?
It's a conversation, two ways.
Yeah. So like if you think about this from an executive assistant, like we're sitting down to talk about stuff is one way that executive assistant gets context. The other is, hey, here's all my bank statements. Go put together the
Yep.
budget. You know what I mean?
No different than you do for a regular personal
Person.
assistant. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, so obviously connecting into things like medical records and bank statements and all of that, so that can be pulled automatically would be great, but that's a whole lot of work,
Yeah.
right? And it's opens up new security
Yep.
things, etc. So to me, even though it will be way better eventually, and we will have this to be able to connect into these things, if we just have a good document processing service to get this information into a format that can be leveraged inside BrainDrive, going from downloading a transcript from Zoom or downloading your bank statements and being able to easily upload them into BrainDrive and have it organized
Yep.
correctly, that's a big difference from not being able to do that to being able to do
Yep.
that, even if it requires a little manual work from your side.
Yep. Take a picture of your bank statement and automatically it's there and all of it's going through the data and
Right.
formulating it and you're good.
Right. So getting more information that you already have into your brain drive.
Yep.
And then the next step beyond that will be making that as easy and automated as possible. Right. Okay. So that's what one bucket of work. The other bucket of work is making it as easy as possible to interact with my brain drive, my executive assistant,
Yep.
wherever I am. Right. So right now I have to go home and log into my laptop to tell my brain drive and like I'm out, a lot of my best ideas come when I'm jogging or whatever. If I'm working in Slack, etc. So, the other bucket is making it as easy as possible to have your brain drive with you wherever you are. And so to me, again, just like with the document processing, yes, it would be great to have a brain drive device and all these other things, but most people have their phone with
Yep.
them. And so having a way just to be able to talk to your brain drive from your phone is that 0 to 1.
Yep.
Okay, so those are the two, I think, clear next steps
Yeah.
is going from 0 to 1 with being able to take your brain drive with you, which means some phone access,
Yep.
and then being able to process documents easily and add them to your brain drive manually.
I would
Make
agree.
sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if we were starting from nothing, I would say processing documents is the bigger bang for our buck because it's easy. I think there's a lot of document processing out
Yeah.
there that we can leverage,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of bang for your buck,
Hmm.
right? However, you're already in installer mode, and you're already sort of like have momentum towards getting this working on another device. Like you
Yep.
did Windows, now you did Mac, you're polishing that off. Let's
Yep.
do the phone.
Yep. I'm great because if we get on the phone, that puts us actually closer and our pathway to gathering that data that people want. Because now if you're on your phone, you're one click from pressing the microphone, talking to it. You're also, oh, I just took a picture, send it. It's like,
Yes.
so no matter what you're doing, you're starting to capture data and you have it on your phone so that you can send it to your brain drive instantly in real time instead of, like you said, wait till you get home and then like, oh my God, what did I, if you remember to do it, because half the time I wouldn't.
Okay. Now, um, it also, um, prior to seeing the Windows and Mac installers, I was like, okay, for Katie, we're going to have BrainDrive Concierge. If we are able to get a phone app working
Mhm.
where it syncs somehow with your, so when you're on your
Yep.
laptop, you have the same library access
Yep.
as you have on your phone.
Yes.
To me, that would be the ultimate.
And we talked about that before. And since we're already using GitHub to manage your backups, that would become the facilitator for that. There's a bunch of people that do something similar. Obsidian, I'm going to call out because they have a plugin where all of a sudden your data can get synced. We won't go the plugin route. We'll build because we already have 90% of this tech built in with doing your backups. The only thing that we need to allow for is so that when you start up BrainDrive, you do not have to manually restore. It will automatically check and see, hey, do I have updated data sitting in my backup? And so it'll say yes, it'll pull it down and it'll tell you, okay, just grab the data from your GitHub. You're now ready to go. You make a change, and if you have it set up to automatic backup, it will automatically, any change you do, even if it's like 2 seconds, I dropped the babysitter off. Good. For whatever, if you want to put that on there, who cares? It'll automatically go up to GitHub. It'll store. And if you don't touch your phone again, when you get to your desktop, the first thing it will do, it'll go, let me check if I have new data for me. It finds it, pulls it back down. Again, the same notice. I found new data. You have it. You're ready to go.
Okay. So a V1 of this, from my perspective, which would be totally fine, is
Yep.
just a little sync button that you
Yep.
push. You know what I mean? And it does it. Like that would be fine for V1.
And
We
we
want it to
agree.
be automated if possible,
Do
but
we agree it can't be buried as well? Because the sync button has to be like right down where you're, on the bottom left probably of BrainDrive, where it'd be so easy to go just click sync.
um, I would almost say, ugh, I don't love. So I think there's a trade-off here because a lot of people aren't going to be doing this. Well, I don't know. It's a good question because I really,
Something to think about then.
yes. Because it brings up a question. You know what I mean? I really love the fact that our interface is so clean right
Hmm.
now. Um,
We do have the plus sign is sitting inside of the input box that we're currently doing nothing with. We could put a menu on that where you click it and we start seeing the functionality behind, that's hidden in tier
I
two.
almost want to take back the automatic syncing now because adding this button is gonna just it's a question. It's another
Yep.
question. You know what I mean? What is this? You
But
know?
if you can go into settings and you can establish it's automatic, you
Yes.
don't even have to think about it.
Right. Or not even have to go into settings. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
default automatic.
Okay, default. Yeah. Well, once you set up, you have GitHub as your backup, and you put it in your Pat token. It'll automatically from that moment on default.
Okay, so maybe this is we'll have to think about this, but for Katie, I'm wondering if there's a way that it can just sync without having the GitHub token thing and all that is another like whole thing.
Um, once we do connectors, Google Brain Drive, or not Google Brain, Google Drive, something of that nature, because then you'd have your files there.
Yeah.
GitHub just gives you that ability to have versioning and history and take care of you in the event of life goes really bad.
Yeah, but that could become the new concierge. And instead of $25 a month,
Eh,
or whatever it is, it could be $5 a
Yep,
month. So, that syncing, etc.
yep,
And it just works
yeah,
across all your devices. So we'll have to spec that out.
yep,
All right, but we're agree. So let's solidify here just for this
yep.
call is It doesn't need to work amazingly for Katie right now. If we can just get this working for our Adam Carter
Yeah.
persona, which is our developer who's going to be very familiar with GitHub and have
Yeah.
no problem putting a token in and all that type of stuff, that's amazing. And if we can launch with that, the next our next launch,
Yeah.
with PAA, BrainDrive, the installers, phone, and course,
Yep.
like that's
No.
killer.
Yep. And like I said, we have almost all the tech done in the backups already done. We just have to maybe change the location of something that will that everybody would have. And Google Gmail is almost the answer for that is
Yeah.
because everybody has that. Or you have the my phone clicked on that when I said Google. Um, uh, you also have Microsoft on their drive as
One,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, one.
Microsoft,
Yeah,
I don't know what, I mean, even
it's
looking at the Windows installer, I'm like, this is like from the 1980s,
yep. I warned you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
and also anytime someone sends me like a Teams link or OneDrive or something, I'm just like, you might as well just give up. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
But I figure if we offer just a few connectors, GitHub, Google, and we'll throw unless there's another file storage that's free that a lot of people have, and we can build on that list. Well, so we'll
yeah.
just start with Google. The minute you start BrainDrive up, you let it know that you're your Google Drive user and stuff like that. Of somehow we can make it as easy as possible without tokens. But I wonder if Google's going to play nice with that one right there because they like tokens to be handed out. But and as soon as you click go, it starts backing up for you.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing is being able to, for our Adam Carter persona, being able to set up Olama model. Like I can connect to my Olama on my home server, my laptop or
Yep.
whatever, and run those models on my phone.
That's called tail scale and an API key. That's why we added the API keys into Llama because a lot of people don't understand why you do that. That's why you do that
Okay.
because you don't
Perfect.
want to be one of those 13,000 people with an Llama server open.
All right. So to me, then your roadmap, your next steps just cleared up, which
Yep.
is finish polishing off the desktop installers and then go to mobile.
Yep.
But we're
That was
building for Adam first.
yeah, we want this to work on mobile. You have to know what you're doing on this, and then once we get there, we'll look at where we need to take this for Katie to be on the App Store and go boom. That's what I
Yes.
want.
Amazing. All right. Anything else you want to talk about for this week?
Nope, for that covered this week.
All righty. As we talk about at the beginning of the call, we do these calls every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You're welcome to participate. We'd love it if you would. And we also post the recordings over on our community forums over at community.braindrive.ai. So you're welcome to and encouraged to participate there as well. As we also talked about at the beginning of the call, our mission here is to build a superior user-owned alternative to big tech AI systems.